Welcome back to TSARP, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Today, we're interviewing Adrian Martinez from InfiniLearn. How are you, Adrian?
I'm doing good. It's
All
great to
right.
be on here.
Yeah, great. So, you run an ed tech platform called InfiniLearn. So, my first question for you is what type of schooling you do?
I'm actually homeschooled. I dropped out of traditional schooling when I was about in sixth grade, and now we do independent learning.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I'm online schooled, so I get the flexibility, but it's still like state run. But yeah, I've been liking it so far. I've only been doing it for a few weeks though. What made you come to that decision in sixth grade?
I was really struggling in like the public school system, like just one size fits all type education. Just wasn't right for me because I was so far ahead.
Yeah, that makes sense, definitely. Yeah, I felt some of that stuff before. That's kind of why I made the switch too. So yeah, so what made you decide to start InfiniLearn?
Yeah, it was actually that educational journey that like I had. In recent years, there have been like many developments in GPT models and AI and like just mobile computing in general that really lets you take like that independent learning that normally would have required thousands of hours and like independent research and studies and etc. to actually bring it to everyone for free.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really cool, and a really cool part of what you're doing is how, it's customized for everyone and for, exactly their needs, which is awesome. And that's how really all education should be. All right, yeah, and I was wondering what separates you. Well, right now you have two plans. You have your free plan and your pro plan. What's the difference between them?
Yeah, so the free plan has everything, honestly, everything that almost every learner would use. The pro plan is essentially for the users that really actively use the app. It lets you do more quests, add more classes, freeze your streak in case you like accidentally skipped a day, and also early access to new features ahead of time.
Yeah, gotcha. That makes sense. All right. And you've also been talking about, and you have it on your website, your collaboration with Meta. What is a part of that collaboration and how did that come to be?
Yeah. Um, about 6 months ago, I applied to the Spatial SDK. It's like this platform that lets you take your flat screen app to VR. Um, I got in, and then I worked on it for a couple months, and now it's releasing next month on Google Play as well as the MetaQuest store. So InfiniLearn is coming to VR, and we also have another undisclosed partnership that I can talk about later this year.
Gotcha. All right. And what are some of the advantages about having it in VR?
Well, you have like an infinite canvas, like first of all. That's like one of the biggest things. You can make your screens whatever size you want. You can have multiple screens, so you can really just stay in the flow. And then about staying in the flow, you can make your environment whatever you want. So like our default environments are going to be like these beautiful classrooms, but then you can also do it anywhere. Like you can do it in augmented reality with your floating screens, or you can have it in I don't know the top of a mountain, underneath the water, wherever you want.
Gotcha. Yeah, it sounds really cool. And I have a MetaQuest, so I'd love to test it out when it comes out.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
definitely add you.
Yeah, and you also recently announced that you have a new angel investment, and you also recently pitched to over 2,000 people, but we'll get to that in a second. Are you able to share anything about that angel investment?
Yeah. We're currently raising a pre-seed right now. If you're an investor, just shoot me a message on X, LinkedIn, whatever, and I'll get back to you.
Gotcha. All right, awesome. And yeah, how did that pitch to over 2,000 people come to be?
Yeah, so I applied to this venture studio called Founders Inc. at the start of December, and then literally that same night at about 11 p.m., I heard back from them that I was in and that I would need to be in San Francisco the next day. So we packed some stuff and we just flew out there. It was honestly amazing. It's like this month long. I got into this thing called Cold Start. It's this month long program, and at the end we would pitch to over there was like 400 people there in person, but over 2,000 watched live online. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. Just I flew there every Friday and then flew back every Friday because it was really expensive in SF. But it was just a great experience in general, being around other founders.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And you probably wouldn't have been able to do it if you weren't homeschooled, which is one of the awesome things about homeschooling.
Yeah, definitely. It's just great to be able to take my classes anywhere, do schooling anywhere, and that's one of the main benefits I want to bring to all children worldwide with InfiniLearn.
Yeah. So what's kind of like your long-term vision for InfiniLearn? Do you want to turn it into like almost like a homeschooling program, like someone can just use InfiniLearn, or what's your vision for it?
Yeah, so right now InfiniLearn is a full Canvas, Google Classroom, Schoology, PowerSchool, etc. Full replacement. The main problem right now is that it's not integrated with a lot of courses, subjects, and traditional school systems, and we're also still very small. We only have about 300 daily active users. So I want to keep scaling it nationwide and then worldwide, get it in different localizations, and then also cross-platform. A good education platform needs to be future-proof, and we're already coming to MetaQuest. Canvas isn't doing that.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you're really like taking some of the new technologies like AI and VR and AR and already incorporating them into education. And these other old platforms are nowhere near that, so that's really cool. Also, you recently started HS Underdogs, a Twitter community and Discord community. What made you start that?
So there is a few resources online for teens to like go together and connect, but I wanted a more personal, like social type place where teens could just chat with each other and like share resources and honestly just get to like motivate each other to just keep building and growing because I like the stuff I had at Founders Inc. We would like present what we did the past week every Friday, and now we're doing that in the Teen HS Underdogs, and I think that's a really good factor for motivation. It's just holding yourself accountable, and with other teens, I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds really cool, and I think that's a big thing that like teen entrepreneurs and just ambitious teens in general have a problem with is finding each other. Because a lot of teens aren't like that. They don't have those big ambitions, or they're running a startup. So for you to make an online community for that is really cool.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, and it also recently got backed by localhost, right?
Yeah. When we were one of the people who helped us set it up, the Discord server, was from a community manager from localhost, and then they reached out to us and they were like, "Hey, we want to partner. You guys have an awesome community." So now we're an official partner of localhost, and that means that we're gonna have exclusive opportunities to apply to localhost benefits. You can get travel credits, AWS credits, Azure credits, and actual funding. Their average check size is around 20K, so definitely apply to join the Teen Underdogs if you want to be a part of that.
Yeah, gotcha. And also, I want to go a little bit further back. What were some of the projects that you were working on before InfiniLearn?
Yeah, so I made websites when I was about 10 years old. I made easily over 100 websites just for fun, for my friends, family, literally a bunch of random stuff. Then after that, I made actual websites. I had this website called like Shortcut Games, where that would find like all the best game links, and it was like essentially a directory. And then after I moved on from that, I went and built Zoe, your AI companion. It's still on the App Store today. Think of like Snapchat, both AI, where messages automatically delete. I published that early last year. I got calling, AI calling working, completely cross-platform as well. And then I built a game called Elemental Battlefields, which is actually releasing tomorrow after I worked on it for it's been about 3 years, 2 3 years that I've been working on this game. And I'm super excited to finally talk about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, it sounds like you've been working on a ton of things, all at once, InfiniLearn, HS Underdogs, your new game. How do you manage working on all of that at one time?
Um, well, this app is not affiliated with me, but just like a quick plug. There's this other app called Opal. It's like a app distraction blocker type thing, and I just have that permanently on. Like I have like it blocks messages and distracting apps like social medias for a good chunk of the day, and then just staying in the flow and not having access to like those distractions really helps me stay focused, and you can get a really productive day done.
Yeah, gotcha. So, a big hurdle for a lot of young founders is just like getting your initial users. But you've seemed to have done that. You have 300 daily active users. What tips would you give to teens trying to get their first users?
Well, I think your startup is kind of doomed to fail if you don't know where to get your first active users, because then that means that you don't know who you're building for. And if you're not building for someone, then you need to pivot to something that actually does have people with like a dire problem. Um, so I found my first users actually by just messaging my friends, got them online because they're also students. But then where I really hit my stride was in these last 3 weeks, where I've gotten like the 8 to 11% week over week growth, which is there's these Reddit communities. Reddit is amazing for growth. There's these Reddit communities that are literally like r/Canvas sucks or Schoology sucks, and then I'm just on there and I'm like, hey guys, I agree, Canvas isn't great. Come try out my platform, please. Give me honest feedback. And then people are just happily signing up and giving me really, really great feedback.
Yeah, gotcha. I've heard about a lot of teen founders using Reddit recently. Actually, other ed tech platforms too, run by teens. What do you have you had anyone like thinking like you're trying to sell or get angry because it's almost like selling? Like, how do you deal with that?
I've gotten banned from so many subreddits. It's like, it's wild. I bet I can't even access like half of the education related stuff anymore. But that's just a part of selling. Like, not everyone is going to like and understand your product, and then just take the feedback if you think it's honest feedback, analyze your pitch, refine it. Like, you're not going to appeal to everyone. And let's be honest to that. Like, you just got to find the people that are like worth appealing to.
Gotcha. And also, what got you first into startups in general?
I think it's that whole maker mentality of like I want to build something that like people really love and people really use and like just people want, and I want to fix people's problems just in general.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what are your like? Where do you see ed tech going in the next like few years? Like, do you think like it's rapidly expanding? Like, I've seen a lot of new ed tech platforms coming out recently. What are your views on that?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely going to start moving into future platforms like VR and augmented reality. I am so bullish on a VR for education. It's like very, very crazy. And I kind of think that like building for flat screen is a dead end at this point if that's what you're 100% prioritizing. And I think you need to be future ready for the future platforms because we're going to have some amazing augmented reality stuff in the next couple of years and amazing VR stuff. And like just last year, the Quest 3S, 299 and even cheaper for students, and that is incredible VR.
Yeah, gotcha. Have you had a chance to try out the Apple Vision Pro?
Yes, I've. It's actually like this running joke I have with my friends, where every time we go like to the mall or out or wherever, I just go to the Apple store and I book a Vision Pro demo. I think I've tried it 14 times by now, just with random demos. I gotta say, it's really good. It's really expensive, and I think that MetaQuest or maybe Android XR is gonna be like the major platform to build for now.
Do you see Apple like releasing like a cheaper headset at some point in the future? Like, what do you think really was their purpose in releasing the Vision Pro, especially at such an expensive price point?
Yeah, it's clearly a dev kit. Like it's Vision Pro, so I think that kind of implies that we're gonna get like a Vision Air or Vision Light, maybe just even a normal Vision. That doesn't sound good though. So I would hope they do a Vision Air. Um, and I think that they're just trying to get the best top of the top line hardware for enthusiasts and well developers out there, so they can build like these incredible experiences. And then once the price finally drops to 1,500, 999, even 499, I don't know, Vision SE, in like 5-10 years, then their apps are gonna run same quality, same stuff, just on a much more future-proof device.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. And do you use a Meta Quest like in your day-to-day workflow? Like, do you find it like as like a productivity hack to kind of be like fully immersed in your work?
Actually, I have my Quest right here. I was literally just using it for work right before I got on the call with you. My hair might be a bit messed up. Um, but yeah, I love this thing for work. For 4.99, you can get this thing is like a productivity beast. You can get the unlimited screens. You can just pull up multiple windows, arrange them wherever you want, and it's at a great resolution. So I would pretty big recommend if you don't mind wearing that on your face for a couple hours.
Yeah, gotcha. And yeah, like I think like what you were saying about it being like really the future of education and really helping to just improve education in general is totally true. And I want to hear your thoughts on like how it could go, like more students can start using it because I think there's a little bit of a high barrier to entry. Like, how do you see that changing in the next few years?
Um, I think a big thing is just going to be price and like actual practicality. Um, like I said, the Quest 3S is a very new and it like got released only a couple months ago, and that has some of the best augmented reality out there on the market right now. And that is the first mainstream, truly mainstream mixed reality headset. Like the Quest 3 was much cheaper than a Vision Pro, but it's still 499 like for the cheapest version. And that's not going to appeal to the same people that bought a Quest 2 directly because the Quest 2 was like 199, 299. That's much cheaper. Now with the Quest 3S at 299 or even 249 for like students and educators, that's going to be amazing. Meta already had their best year to date, and just engagement is like has been spiking in the past few years.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to see what you thought about, how all these companies are working on AR glasses now. Where do you see like VR and AR fitting in together? Like, how are we going to use, like, why would we use VR if we have AR? What do you see the future being with having both?
A lot of people say that they're gonna like come together and overlap, and it's like, oh, this is VR, this is one thing, this is AR, it's one thing. It's gonna come together and make this perfect pair of AR glasses. No, that is absolutely not gonna happen. I think that the Quest and like the let's just say the Meta Ray Bans or AR glasses. I think that they're gonna stay like very distinct things, while VR is gonna be reserved for like at home type thing. It's gonna be your desktop or your laptop PC type thing where I'm not going to pull a laptop out in the middle of Disneyland if I want to check my text messages. I'm going to pull out my phone. So I think it's going to be more of a thing that's like to replace the laptops because you got more space. Obviously, you can add more cooling, you can add more compute, that type of stuff. Well, where AR is going to be the go-to mobile computing platform, where you still got like the floating flat apps floating, but in your real space.
Yeah, gotcha. That makes a lot of sense, actually, like having the glasses, AR glasses, be more like the phone and the VR headset be more like the at-home device. When did you start using VR devices?
I had a Google Cardboard from like 8 years ago, and I was mesmerized by that. And I really, really wanted like a full VR headset. So like 2 years ago, my mom finally broke down for my birthday, got me a Quest 2, and that like completely changed my life. The level of quality you can get on a Quest 2, like a 5-year-old headset now, compared to like a Google Cardboard, is insane. If you haven't tried a VR headset, anyone watching this, go to your friend's house, just go to the local store and go try a Quest 2 or a Quest 3S because usually they have them on display and stuff. It is a world of a difference compared to the mobile VR headsets. And that just like completely shifted my perspective and everything on like where I think the future is headed. Cause like you could just create things, like unlimited things, and you don't have barriers in VR, and it's like amazing for social connection.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's funny because I started with a Google Cardboard too, and then moved to a Quest 2. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And like, do you feel like being so immersed, like, in a desktop environment through a headset can also be distracting sometimes. Like if you like open like another app, and like, do you feel like there are distractions that come with it?
Well, yeah, I think there's always going to be distractions. Like, instead of being hyper focused, you can be hyper brain rot and have five TikTok windows open at the same time and doom scroll infinitely. Like, with this is going to sound so stupid, but I'm going to quote, like, what was it? With great power comes great responsibility. Like, you can do really whatever you want in VR, and some people are going to take that for good, and some people are not going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, gotcha. That makes sense. Do you feel like one day we'll just completely switch from like a desktop to a VR headset, and same with a mobile phone?
I don't think that they're not in like the next 10 years at least. There's going to always be a place for like the desktop, the laptop, the phone, etc. Like, AR is good. Really good AR glasses aren't coming for like the next 3 years, at least 3-4 years. And until then, even when they do come, like, they're not going to be cheap. Phones are gonna, you can get a phone right now for like $50 on eBay. That is not happening for good AR glasses for like the next 10 years. It's just not possible, like, even with Meta's trajectory and stuff. And I think that's fine. Like, we still have people building for AR in VR headsets that are AR, but yeah, I think they're always gonna have like their own distinct spaces.
Yeah, and I think you're in an interesting area with VR and AR and education because, like, how do you see, like, I feel like AR technology or really glasses, like AR glasses, can really disrupt, like, your normal schooling, like your in-person schooling. Because I don't know if I have them. Oh, yeah, I have them right here. So I have the Meta Ray-Bans,
Oh,
and I
okay.
wore them to school last year, at like the end of last year. But like I could be playing anything, like I could be playing like, notes or, whatever it be during a test and no one would really know. I didn't do that. But like how do you see kind of AR affecting regular schooling? And will we need to know so much information if it can just be like in our ears like instantly?
I think information's always going to be good to like know as like a person. It's good to be well rounded and just have knowledge in general. Um, and I think AR is very much going to disrupt the classroom. Um, in the same way like traditional technology has. We have like those virtual whiteboards, and many schools use laptops and iPads. And while a bunch are banning phones, which I very much disagree with, a bunch of schools are actually utilizing the phone and they're thriving because of it. So it can go both ways, where like AR glasses are going to get completely banned, or they're going to actually thrive and the schools are going to adopt it and they're going to move forward as as like a forward-looking education system.
Yeah, definitely. Like my old school, my middle school was like, as soon as AI came out, like even that year, and especially the next year, they were just like buying new AI software, really getting the teachers to use it. And I feel like that's the way to go. Like they knew, okay, there's no way to stop it. It's here. We can't try to teach students like, okay, you can't use it and that's it. And they tried to adopt it. And I think that's definitely the way to go, and that schools need to start using this technology. How long do you think, we have to wait before we start seeing AR and VR in the classrooms?
Next couple of years. Maybe even probably later this year, hopefully. A lot of there, I have seen actually a few schools. Universities are the first to adopt it, but I've seen a couple middle schools and even some high schools that are actively using VR right now in the classroom. There's already great apps out there for it, but mine's coming out soon, and that's going to be super excited, and that's going to be great.
Yeah, actually, I don't know how I didn't think about this earlier, but long time ago, I think I was in like fourth grade, probably. There was like assembly. Someone came in and they had, it was almost like Google Cardboard, but a little more like advanced. But yeah, like they had one for every student, and like we did a lesson in VR. And this was a long time ago. I don't know how I didn't think about that. But yeah, like I think the reason they were able to do that is because, Google Cardboard's a lot cheaper than like, a MetaQuest, and they could trust fourth graders with it. But yeah, like it's definitely already in classrooms. And schools are already experimenting with it, like you were just saying. So yeah, that's really awesome. Do you have plans to get InfiniLearn in classrooms, like selling to schools?
Yeah, I'm a student, and that gives me an amazing advantage to the schools. My charter school loves me, and we're already in the process of becoming a vendor for my own charter school. So that's great, and we're also in talks with a few other charter schools to become vendors as well. I think that's the right move, which is to focus on like the B2C right now and try to get as many normal like users on as possible while passively looking for charter schools. And the public school systems like LAUSD, the NYSD, and stuff like that, those are very hard to crack. But if you get in one of those, you're pretty much set as an education technology like software company. So I'm gonna just keep progressing for now with the B2C, like just normal people, get more daily active users. We're gonna keep looking into getting the charter schools, but that's like also a lengthy process. And then in the future, if the possibility does come up, then we're gonna go for LAUSD or another school district.
Yeah, definitely. And I know it completely depends on like the district. They can even be in the same general area, and one district will be way more accepting to it than the other. Like I used to live in New York, and my school district there, like I said, would adopt the stuff like crazy with AI. And they were the one who did the VR too. But then I moved to Florida, and like I couldn't imagine that really here. So it's definitely all depends on the region. But I think you can definitely, like, if you find the right districts, they'll definitely adopt it. And yeah. And I know a few that might be interested in it too, so we could message after. But yeah, so I mean, it all sounds really cool. Before we wrap it up, I wanted to see or hear more about your vision for HS Underdogs, where you see it going in like the next year or so.
Yeah, HS Underdogs is more of like a passive side project to me. I'm not really trying to turn it into the next billion-dollar, B2B AI cloud crypto SaaS company, but I'm gonna just keep posting about it on X, keep posting it on LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever, trying to get more people to join, maybe get a few more partnerships, and just keep growing the community. I still want to keep it like this, not intimate, but more like personal type community, and that doesn't mean that like I can't scale it to like tens of thousands of people, but I still want to make people actually talk and actually respond to each other. I don't want a dead Discord server with 2,000 people and 5 people actually talking.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's hard to do, like keep them going. Like I've had my fair share of Discord servers, and it's definitely hard to keep people going, but it would be really cool if you can do that, because definitely as like teens, we need some place, some Discord server where we can just meet other people with similar interests in tech and entrepreneurship. So yeah, that would be awesome. All right, yeah, well, this has been great. You shared a ton of info. I really can't wait to see where InfiniLearn goes. It even sounds like in the next few months you're going to have a ton of more stuff to share. So in the future, if you ever have some big announcements, close a big funding round, any new collaborations, I would love to have you back on the show to talk about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll message you as soon as anything comes up.
Awesome. All right, yeah, and thank you to all the viewers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.
See you.